What's up, guys? This is Ryan from Bible Dingers, and I am here to bring you the first installment of a new video series we're going to be doing on our channel where we do book reviews. And I'm going to be reading all kinds of Bible, theology, Christianity, and general books, giving you my thoughts on it, giving it a rating, and then if you guys want to purchase it, I'll leave a link in the description. And the first book I'm going to review is More Than a Healer. Healer by Costi, Hinn. And now I have to preface this review and tell you that Costi is a friend of the show. He's been on a couple times, and so I might have some personal bias because I like him as a person. So this book is basically where Costi mentions a little bit in the beginning of the book about his background in the faith healing movement, the health, wealth, prosperity gospel. And he talks in the first chapter about how Jesus, yes, is a healer. He lays out sort of a theology for healing, but then he spends the rest of the book talking about what Jesus also is. Jesus is justice, Jesus is love, Jesus is hope, so on and so forth. So it sort of lays out what Jesus is on top of Jesus being a healer. Some of the things that I liked about the book, there was several. I honestly liked the book a lot, and that's unbiased, okay? The first thing is his transparency. So Costi was very open about his personal life experiences, and I appreciate that. It's not always easy to put your personal life out there for people to critique and to talk about and think about. Next, I appreciate his clarity. So the first few chapters are He is healer, He is peace, He is savior, He is hope. So it's real clear, it's real straightforward. In those chapters, he lays out how he is healer, how he is peace, how he is savior, so on and so forth, using really clear scriptures, and he lays out really clear arguments for his positions. Now, this isn't really a highly debatable book. The scriptures used in these chapters are pretty widely accepted in his interpretation. So it's not a very controversial book. Any of the statements made are pretty core Christianity and acceptable to pretty much any denomination. So I like his transparency, I like the clarity, and I also like the applicability, which I think is a word. After each chapter, he gives questions that you can use to reflect on that chapter. So not only is it good for personal reading, it's also good for doing in a small group church setting, something like that. So very clear, very transparent, very applicable. So this is hard, and he kind of threw me for a loop because I read the first chapter, which was about healing and suffering, and it laid out a theology of God as healer. My only gripe, and the one that I was planning on using for this video, is that he didn't use Job very much. And I believe that Job is a book of the Bible that really heavily talks about God and how he works in suffering and disease and death. And so I thought that Job was a bit underutilized when I was reading the healing portion, the first chapter of the book. However, he threw me a curveball because in the conclusion of the book, he uses Job heavily. And so I thought I had him on something that I disliked about the book, even though I was sort of searching for something. That's a very minor complaint, I would say. But even then, he subverted my dislike, and I can now think of nothing that I dislike about this book, and that is not biased, okay? That has nothing to do with bias. Next, my favorite quote comes from page 139, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says, "As with every other chapter in this book, this truth about Jesus is not just about information, it is about transformation. Knowing who Jesus is and what he is like shapes how you and I are to live." And so I love that. I think that sort of sums up the book in a way because he's laying out all of these things that Jesus is, and then there's reflection questions at the end. So he's basically saying, here's everything that Jesus is. What are you going to do with that? These truths shouldn't just be informational. They should be transformational. They should affect how you live your life in some way. My difficulty rating for this book is easy. I didn't find anything particularly difficult to understand or grasp in this book. Lastly, my rating, my unbiased rating, is going to be 4.5 out of 5 dings. If you guys are interested in this book, I will leave a link in the description. I know I've been waving around everywhere this whole time. Hopefully it's not distracting. Go pick it up. Support the ministry. Costi's a great guy, writes great books. I think you will enjoy it. Awesome book.